All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is November 17th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all my paying subscribers. Looks like market's heading south for a little while here. We'll see what happens. Okay, so how I made 600 today with a 64K account while only risking 6,400. All right, let's take a look at the markets first. Let's move this over, slide this down. All right, into the close. Got a 10-minute bullish cross here. I'm just going to call it bearish consolidation. We only got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to call it just bearish consolidation into the close. On the 2-hour chart, all right, we've got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, huge red, almost engulfing candle here. Still in a downtrend. All right, we've got, looks like an outside day today. Looks like a higher high and a lower low. Closing under the bearish trap, under the 17 EMA. We'll zoom way out. You can see the quad lines in there, and you can see we're in the middle of quadrant 4, and things are not looking good. All right, we're still in a downtrend, and we're having a hard time turning this around. So still in a downtrend up here in quadrant 4. That is still bullish as long as we can maintain building consolidation over prior consolidation. It's starting to blend into prior consolidation right now. On the weekly chart, still in an uptrend. Got the green dots, nothing broken yet on the weekly. And monthly chart, still in an uptrend, nothing broken on the weekly. Let's take a look back at the game plan. And we'll take a peek over here on the 15-minute. All right, so here is the game plan for today. Underneath the pivot, I'm a bear. You can see price action came down underneath this pivot here. Got underneath the red line right through here, but then recovered at the end of the day, looking like a possible pullback up to VWAP right up there. So price action kind of waffled around the pivot in the morning time and then sold off in the afternoon. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. And let's try this one. QQQ on the 10-minute chart, we have a 10-minute bullish cross. Going to call it bearish consolidation, being down here in the lower third down here for today's candle. So a little bit of a start, trying to start an uptrend. 2-hour chart, we've got 2-hour downtrend. You can see right here the 3 and the candlesticks are underneath the 8. The 8 is underneath the 17. So we got 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. Almost bearish engulfing here. Higher high, higher low. Closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Again up here in the middle of quadrant 4. That remains bullish as we consolidate over prior consolidation. Again, we're starting to blend some of that consolidation in with the prior consolidation. So it's not looking real good right there on QQQ. Let's take a look at weekly and monthly. Weekly still in an uptrend, nothing broken there. Monthly still in an uptrend, nothing broken there. Let's take a look at IWM, and we'll look at that on the daily chart. IWM got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. IWM still in a downtrend, but up here in, let's see if we're in quadrant 4. Still in quadrant 4 up there, still in a downtrend. So it's got to be kind of moving up, not moving up yet. IWM looks like it's targeting the prior highs anchored VWAP right up here. Okay, let's try to put, let's move this down and put one right here and see if it's any different. So it actually looks like it's targeting the April low anchored VWAP. I'll take this one off. They're kind of both about the same. So targeting that anchored VWAP, which would be the April low. SIWM. Nice work, Jim, trading those puts. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. And Diamond Dow, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Still respecting one of the uptrend lines right there. No, disrespecting there, spiking that one. Not sure where this line comes in. That is a long-term line. Okay. Diamond Dow on the daily chart. In a downtrend, because they finally made a lower low. They were in an uptrend, so price action is now in a downtrend for Diamond Dow after digging out a lower low right here today. So up there in quadrant 4 again. Be nice to see them moving up, but they're not quite moving up again. Consolidation over prior consolidation is bullish, but now we're starting to blend some of that upper consolidation in with the lower one, so it's kind of that's not bullish anyways. All right, so there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU got a higher high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17, up at the bottom of quadrant 4. Still respecting the major support here from the consolidation. Not sure how much longer that's going to hold up. But FNGU still in a downtrend. They have not fixed anything yet. And looking like they're ready to start digging out some lower lows pretty soon here. Let's take a look at GLD. Gold putting in lower low, lower high, closing under a bearish cross, and underneath the 17 EMA and underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in the bottom of quadrant 4, still in an uptrend, nothing broken yet. They recovered that uptrend by taking out this high right here, but price action is still in an uptrend, but not looking good there for GLD. Again, price action up there at the bottom of quadrant 4, that's still bullish and still in an uptrend. Silver got a lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Still bullish, still in an uptrend for silver. UNG got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17 EMA. Still in an uptrend, but bearish down there in quadrant 1. Again, they need to hold the higher ground, and it looks like a repeat of the past performance for UNG. Let's take a look at USO. USO's got a outside day, looking like a higher high and a lower low, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA, trying to recover that. Still in a downtrend. You can see the downtrend line still underneath that downtrend line, has not made higher high in a while. So USO just neutral, not in the lower third, that would be bearish, not in the upper third, that would be bullish. So USO just still neutral right here and in a downtrend for USO. Technicals, let's take a look at those. And T2101. All right, so the market comes down and participation increases. See this? As we dip into the lows. All right, in the afternoon, you can see that was our shift downward, and you can see now participation increases as we shift lower. T2101. So we're not getting much participation on the upside, only on the downside. All right, so mostly on the downside. T2101. T2122, we find ourselves in the oversold zone. We camped out inside the sell zone, but we find ourselves closing the day in the oversold zone. We could camp out here all day tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right, so nothing says that we're oversold now that we're going to start going up. They could camp out here all day long and continue to make little micro lower highs and lower lows. T2122 not looking good for the market for tomorrow on T2122. T2123 digging out new lows here since the all-time high. So we've got a lower high, and lo and behold, the bears got inspired to make lower lows right here. So here we have lower highs, lower lows. They're in a 15-minute downtrend. They're under the 200 SMA. Again, not my favorite place to be unless you're a bear, and I'm not a bear. So there's T2123 on the 15-minute chart, still in a downtrend on the 15-minute time frame. On the 3-bar time frame, same thing. We got lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. We got a low, another lower low, and an even lower low. All right, so now we're in a downtrend on the 3-bar time frame. Again, underneath the 200 SMA, not my favorite place to be unless you're a bear. I'm not a bear, so it's not my place, not where I like to be. So there's T2123 3-bar chart. We'll find out when they get to this head and shoulders right here what's going on, if they can hold up that area right there. So got looks like another day of selling tomorrow. Maybe a recovery after that, maybe from some economic numbers. We'll see what happens. All right, FNGU. FNGU today got a low right here. Got a lower high. Got a lower low. Made an even lower low. So still in a downtrend underneath the 200 SMA. Underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, both of those, not my favorite place to be, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP or underneath the 200 SMA on the 15-minute chart. Unless you're a bear, and I'm not a bear, but price is just not, the bulls are not stepping up. I feel like the bulls have, I feel like they've lost their horns or something, because they're just not getting it done on FNGU or in other pockets of the market right there. All right, so let's take a look at how I made some money today. Not much. A lot of chop today. I got chopped up for the most part. And SPY on the 10-minute. Let's take a look at it on the 5-minute. So we went up, and then we cut lower, and then we went up, and then we cut lower, and then I kind of thought we would not cut this far lower. We had a bullish MMRP setting up right there, and it fell apart when price did not hold the support area. And then we consolidated down here to make lower lows. And then here's the market rally into the close right there. So there's SPY on the 5-minute chart. And let's take a look at how I made money. Let's take a peek over here. It was very short. I was able to sell this for a couple $1,000 off of 1 penny up to 4 pennies, or off of 2 pennies up to 4 pennies. Right there, 172 on these puts. So I traded some puts on the way down. You can see we had 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. That was tradable event right there. All right, tradable 10-minute downtrend. So I made some money off of trading those. Again, buying the lows of the option candle, selling the highs. Same thing on next puts, 178 on these puts, doing the same thing. Again, buying the lows of the option candle, selling the highs, buying the lows and selling the highs as price dips. I'm selling into strength right there. $52 on those. Again, buying the lows of the option candles, selling into strength as price dips lower. 57, same thing. buying the lows, selling the highs of the option candle. As price dips, the option put goes up in value. Some more puts. Again, buying the lows, selling the highs of the option candle as price, dips low, and then I sell. I sell up here. I purchase up here, puts, and close them out as the price falls and the option price gains in value right there. So 257 on those. And I had some calls that I had short, and I closed those out in the morning. You can see right here, five shares. I had some zero DTE. I'm going to call it an iron condor, and I wound up closing off one of the wings to capture some profit here, and then I created another condor right here. And I'm holding that I held that into the close. You can see I've got profit on that one. I actually captured some profit as price dipped lower. I captured some profit on this one as price dipped lower. Captured some profit there. Lost on these calls, obviously. Buying calls when price is going down does not work out. Again, buying calls as price is going down does not work out. So I lost 2,000 there, and then another 400 there. But managed to just squeak out a $600 day. That's it. Nothing spectacular. Nothing fantastic. I got turned around by the market right here on this up down. Thought we were going to go up. Tackle these highs, just not there. All right, so that's it for me for today. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon. I hope we have a better market for us tomorrow. Looks to me like price wants to come down, but we've got some economic events around the corner, all right, which have been delayed. And they very well could cause the market to rip into new highs. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.